This e-commerce brand in the adult niche signed up with my agency in August 2023, and straight away they turned into a fantastic case study. So whereas before they were getting around 800 or so visitors per month, over time we saw that increase throughout much of this year to around 4,000 or 5,000 visitors per month. And this is nearly all for commercial keywords. So keywords with a CPC value, transactional intent. So basically people searching for a product and looking to buy it. So they land on that page that ranks well on Google and then buy the product. In particular, as with most Ecom SEO, this came largely down to collections pages. It's quite rare for an individual product to rank depending on the search intent, whereas generally people search for categories of products and they want to land on the category page and then go through the options available there and decide from there what they want to buy. And it's because of this great user experience that category pages rank really well if you take the right steps. Now this was of course already proving to be a really good case study with a 5x traffic increase within mere months of signing up with us. If you're also considering applying to sign up with us, then I encourage you to act fast. The market has really picked up in September. We've had a wave of new applications. With rate cuts on the horizon, I'm seeing a lot more optimism in the market. All across the economy, consumers and businesses are getting back to buying and investing. So if you want to seize that trend going into 2025 to make it your best year yet, then click on the apply link below. Get a good insight into how our service works and a load of case studies, including actual screenshots from Search Console, not just Ahrefs, plus client testimonials. And then there's a simple application form at the bottom where we'll take a look at your website and see if we believe we can get you serious ROI. If not, we still aim to point you in the right direction, even if we don't think SEO is the right channel for you. And like I say, limited spots available because we are trying to stay small in quality rather than scaling to massive agency. So even if you're just thinking about it, get your application in sooner rather than later. And then from there, my team will be able to guide you and come up with an idea of if SEO is going to be a profitable channel for you. And you can see, as with all SEO, there's a bit of volatility there. So at one point it did rise up to 14,000 visitors before settling down and then coming back down to around the 5,000 visitors mark as well. So peaks and troughs, you want to look at long-term trend rather than short-term volatility. Fundamentally, this site was in a much more profitable position than it was before it started really caring about SEO. However, you can imagine the shock of this client when suddenly, around the time of the August Google update, this client's site rocketed. And we went from 5,000 visitors per month to a peak of 22,000 visitors per month, and it's actually holding there around 18 to 20,000 visitors per month. Now, if you're an e-com store owner or you want to serve e-com store owners as a consultant or an agency, then I have a valuable gift for you. I meet a wide array of e-commerce store founders, and while some of them are doing really well and heading towards really big exits, I would say the majority of them are burned out, frustrated, and really suffering. Now, yes, from their revenue numbers, they appear to be doing very well. They might have made 3 or 4 million last year. But what you then find when you dig down a bit is they're spending a fortune on ad platforms. And so I've literally met some of these founders who might have done 3 million last year, but their actual profit from that was just in the few thousands. A lot of them are actually making less than 10 grand a month. Now, I know for many people that's an excellent figure, but if you're scaling this big e-com logistics operation, then you really expect a bit more for your effort. Now, the major issue with that is not only do they want to get out, but the fact is they've built an asset that's no longer as desirable to an investor. If it's not even appealing to the founder, then investors aren't going to be particularly interested in it either. And so the secret really does come down to traffic diversification. You don't want to be entirely reliant on Amazon or Facebook ads. Now, I'm not going to tell you that Ecom SEO is going to solve all those problems as the only channel you should focus on, but I think it's a really important aspect of it. Recent Google updates have highly favored small ecom stores. In just about every search result I look at, we can find these very small ecom stores that don't have a lot of authority, aren't particularly well designed, and yet they're getting masses of traffic and sales from it. And it's just an untapped opportunity that a lot of ecom founders just don't seem to be aware of. While over the last few years, blogging has been seen as the big opportunity with SEO, at the moment, ecom is really performing well. And that's because while Google is not really trusting lots of content out there because of the rise of AI, it does trust true products from actual suppliers. So a new ecom store can rank really well, really quickly. But I think there's a reason a lot of ecom store owners aren't really getting on this new trend. And that's basically because they get bombarded with a load of technical details, complications, site structure issues, usually from consultants and agencies looking to scare them into giving them large amounts of money. You get this idea, you're going to have to tear apart your whole Shopify installation in order to figure out the kinks and then put it back together again properly. And it's just not like that. Over the last couple of months, we've been doubling down on working out the real 80-20 of Ecom SEO. And it seems like we're pretty close. So as you've seen over the last few weeks of August, some of my Ecom clients have literally 10x'd within just a few weeks. All just some key changes we've made. And we're putting all of that out in a course for you. Now, obviously, to an Ecom store owner spending millions on ads every month, this is very valuable, and therefore we expect to get a good couple of $1,000s per sale for it. However, if you're one of the first on the list below to sign up, then you will get a free copy, and even if you miss those first few free editions, you'll still get the pre-launch cheap list option, which is the lowest price this course is ever going to be, and a lot less than a few thousand. We're probably still a few weeks away with the recordings, making sure that every part of this course is as detailed and accessible and applicable as it can be, because we want people to really take action from this to grow their businesses. So I'll leave a link below, sign up on the form, and we'll let you know when it launches. Now, how did this happen? There's what we call the Avalanche SEO strategy, where basically there are these big keywords out there, as we know, the broad match, the overall product category you want to rank for, rather than just the specific long-tail products you're trying to rank. But the fact is, with a new site, without many backlinks, without much age, it's very unlikely you're going to immediately jump for these really big keywords that get hundreds of thousands or even millions of searches per month. And like most SEO sales calls, of course, this client came through and said, we appreciate what you're offering, but would it not be worth exploring these much bigger topics with the big volume? And I said quite honestly that, yes, of course, we'd love for that to happen, but it's not going to happen for quite a while. You need to build that trust, that age, and get your domain rating up really high before that actually happens. So, although we'd hope for the best, I never actually promised that at the outset. What we really want to do is go after all your longer tail niches. You've got some really good products and good niches where you could be number one for each one of those products and therefore get far more traffic than ranking down on page 2 or 3 for one of these super big mega categories. But sure enough, with consistency, having been building backlinks every month, improving the site, improving the content over time, in the last couple of days and weeks, it is exactly those massive keywords they were highlighting on that first sales call that have suddenly sprung up to page 1. And you can see that quite clearly here in the calendar view. So we've got a keyword with a keyword difficulty of 70, 286,000 searches per month. And this site jumped up from bottom of page 2 to the bottom of page 1. Only the bottom of page 1, but as you can see, this is a really big, competitive, desirable keyword. And then a secondary related keyword with an even higher difficulty score, that too jumped up multiple positions across several pages of Google. You can also see this is real transactional traffic in the US, the target audience who are actually going to buy the products. We're not just spoofing a massive traffic graph using foreign locations. And all this was achieved with a domain rating of just 30. So yes, I rely on domain rating a lot, but it is not the only metric. You want to look at the underlying value of the links you're building to create that domain rating and make sure they have all the power, relevance, and trust that they need to have the best results. And that includes fixing up the website, with some of the Ecom SEO fundamentals I'll share with you. And you can see that sustained link building effort here. So if we go right back to the beginning, domain rating of 21, we can see the blue line shows backlinks steadily increasing over the time. This was just 5 backlinks per month, all conforming to our minimum standards. As I keep on saying, of course, it's more about quality than quantity with backlinks, but ideally you do want both. You want to build link velocity and continue to grow a sustainable number of backlinks over time. But make sure they're all good. So minimum DR of 30, and actually that's a proven DR of 30 that hasn't been spoofed with common manipulation tactics. Minimum traffic of 1,000, and where does that traffic come from? Is it coming from good, reliable sources? And then, of course, the actual page level placement of that link matters as well in terms of the anchor text and the contextual relevance. It's because of this kind of attention to detail that we're able to get these kinds of results without building that many backlinks. It's only a domain rating of 30, and yet page 1 for this absolutely massive term, and a load of related secondary terms as well. So in aggregation, that's providing a huge amount of bottom of funnel traffic that's ready to buy. Now, I'm always skeptical when I see an Ahrefs graph like this, because Ahrefs like this can actually be manipulated, because it might well be that you only rank for that keyword for a short amount of time, and in that time the Ahrefs crawler picks it up. So you can create these massive traffic graphs that don't actually mean anything, and then it drops down again just as quickly afterwards. So generally, if you're talking amongst SEOs, ultimately the real proof comes down to Google Search Console, because that's much more difficult to fake. With Ahrefs, I could go onto any website on the internet and claim this was my client. Whereas if you've got actual Search Console access, then of course you have a relationship with that site. And at first, when I saw that Ahrefs graph, I myself was skeptical, but looking in Search Console, it is mirroring perfectly. So as you can see, the slow gradual increase over time, in line with our gradual SEO efforts, both on the content, page structure, backlinks. So getting around 250 visitors per day. Eventually we had that peak where we got up to around 400 visitors per day. That quietened down a bit to around 300. But then from the 15th of August onwards, we can then see a peak of nearly 600 visitors per day. So in this case, I don't think this is a one-off spike. I think the Google August update has helped. But I really think that ranking for the mega keyword is now going to stick. Of course, there will be some volatility attached there, but I think if this brand continues what it's doing, a consistent volume of quality backlinks every month, continuing to improve content and product pages and category pages, then Google is clearly showing it trusts this site to stay on page 1 and has earned that right over time. So fantastic result, exactly what this client was exploring the possibility of and asked if that might be a realistic goal around a year ago. But I would not have expected, if we fast forward 1 year, they achieved exactly that goal and will continue to compound that success from here. Until now, they've been heavily reliant on paid ads, which of course takes a massive impact on margin. I know a lot of ecom brands where they'll do 3 million in revenue, but they're spending 2.5 million on ads, which then leaves them with very little actual profit at the end. And that of course has an impact on valuation and acquisition. So most people do want to build an e-commerce empire in order to then sell it on and flip it. Well, if you're siloed entirely within paid ads, then not only does that limit your valuation because your profits are lower, but also your diversification of traffic is quite low. There's that single platform risk. Ads get more expensive over time, so over the next couple of years, you may well find that profit is squeezed even more. On the other hand, you can do what this brand did and set aside a budget for SEO, know that it's going to take a while, but know that in a year or two's time, you'll have claimed that real estate. And then over time, you can reduce your reliance on paid ads and have more of these organic, evergreen sales that longer term don't cost you anything, having made that initial investment in building your online real estate.